You're looking at the new Six Flags CEO. Now, obviously, I'm joking, but if I wasn't, here are 10 things that I would change immediately within the company, but most importantly, I would add new rides to every park, new major coasters. That's coming up later in the video, including which parks I plan on getting rid of. And spoiler alert, I'm going to shrink the company from the 25 parks that they currently have to only 15. This is Theme Park Brandon. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and let's get into this. So, the first thing I would do, well, these really are no particular order, but I would definitely look at changing the Holiday in the Park or Winterfest structure. And while I love the Winterfest product for like Carowinds, Kings Island, and other parks of Canada's Wonderland, I feel like it's very entertainment focused, which that costs more money for the parks to produce on a nightly basis. So I would look at keeping a majority of the rides open that can be open. Focus on the overall lighting experience, all the Christmas lights hanging up and stuff like that. Have a main stage show and basically some entertainment throughout the park like carolers and stuff like that. But I would not go overboard. Going forward, the Christmas event would be mainly you go there for the lights and the rides and the overall experience and the ambiance of all that stuff. All the extra stuff really wouldn't be there. I would cut the cost with that. I would look at what makes Silver Dollar City and Dollywood so popular. Obviously, they're very entertainment focused, so I'm not going to dip into that too much, but people go there for the lights and the overall experience when it comes to everywhere you look, there's Christmas lights. I would also rely on technology more. And what I mean by that's quite simple. That is, I would rely, like for the roller coasters and rides, if it was possible as a former ride operator, I would really look at making sure the newer rides would be really technology focused, meaning that if the sensor says it's locked, the restraint's locked, then as an attendant, I would just visually check it, much like Disney does. Maybe you physically check it, but you don't have to worry about stupid seatbelts. I would get rid of seatbelts at least. I would also have kiosks at every restaurant in the park where you go, scan your pass, select which meal you want, and then your meal comes out to your table or to an area where you gather around and grab your food. I would eliminate positions, if all possible, in any area of the park where I can rely on technology, because after all, staffing costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to get quality workers in there and people that actually want to work. Now, also, most importantly, in my opinion, I would better the product, which means you have a better, well-ran park, a park that's going to be open better hours, and that's going to offer better overall rides, everything, special events, better food, better product all around. And when I do that, I'm also going to work on increasing the pricing to get into the park. Now, I do not want to outprice anyone, but I also want to have that thin line of what's a good price for the product that's going to bring in the people that I want in the parks that are going to spend the money and really go forward and make the park better overall, a better experience. I would also include the chaperone policy. I think that's, unfortunately, I hate it, but I think it's a really good thing for the parks to have. Hopefully down the road we don't have to have that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I would also, for any Halloween fans out there, I would actually implement a rotating haunted house cycle. And what I mean by that is every 3 or 4 years, let's say a haunted house, like for example, Carowinds has Paranormal Inc., a great haunted house. Keep that at Carowinds for 4 to 5 years max, and then rotate it to a different park, because it's not like a roller coaster where it ages. These haunted houses are really good, and especially the newer ones, those can be still popular 5 years from now, 10 years from now, etc. at other parks. So every major park that does a Halloween event, I would always have 2 or 3 new haunted houses coming in each year, and then they just rotate 2 or 3 out as well to other parks. I think it saves a lot of money because all you have to do is pay for shipping and gathering all this stuff up to ship it to the other parks, and then you have a brand new haunted house, a new experience, and that way it's not a stale event where now that they're charging, and I agree with charging, I think it's important for the future of the company, but you want to make sure if you're charging for a product that the product stays fresh. And that's very important. Another thing I would do is I would keep the Peanuts and remove Bugs Bunny. I don't know about you, but I think Bugs Bunny I love it, but I think Peanuts is just a stronger character that more people can relate to, and just has a stronger presence in the parks. And I would love to see Snoopy and them stay on. I don't think it's going to happen, but if I was CEO, of course, that's what I would do. Now we're getting some really good stuff here. I would improve the communication. Obviously, Six Flags is kind of a little bit of heat right now due to the lack of communication. I would be very transparent with my investors, with my customers, future customers, and even the park management and the park associates exactly what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and the benefits of doing it this way. Communication goes a long way, and obviously that has not happened. It has not been very good so far with this new transitioning from the merger, but as far as the next one goes, I think everyone can agree I would improve the special events throughout the year. I would make sure that they're timed during the right times of the year. For example, if I want an event that's going to bring in a lot of people, maybe I don't have it in middle of July when it's crazy hot. Maybe I move it to April when it's not so hot. I would also market these events as well, and more on that in a second. But I would definitely have these special events be every park offer one each month. Even in July, you can do some cool events like water related or food truck Fridays or whatever it is. Have something in the parks to get people to them. But one thing I've always criticized the company is the marketing aspect of the parks. They don't market very well, at least the parks that I go to a lot, Kings Dominion, Carowinds, Kings Island even. You would think that these parks would have billboards everywhere and knowing when you're in the park what's going on. Like for example, Carowinds, they have some pretty good live entertainment overall, but you never see anywhere in the park that says, hey, 3 o'clock, go see this show at the Carolina Theater, whatever it is. You don't see that. And so I would really work on marketing, communication, etc. Throughout the whole entire park. Now, before I get to the really good stuff, if you like roller coaster t-shirts, posters, hoodies, and more, definitely check out themeparkbrandon.com for all my merch. I really appreciate all the support. Now, let's get into the parks that I plan on selling off, because there's a lot. So, here's the parks that would no longer be a part of my company going forward, and it's kind of sad, but it kind of is not. I would definitely work on the overall quality of the core parks. So it's time to say goodbye to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, Six Flags St. Louis, Six Flags Mexico, Six Flags Darien Lake, and Frontier City. I would get out of the leasing contracts with those parks immediately. La Ronde, peace out. Worlds of Fun, goodbye. Valleyfair, I wish I didn't have to, but it's time. And Michigan's Adventure, sorry dude, you're only open 3 months out of the year. There's the exit. Now, as far as the name changes go, I put a lot of thought into this. I think it makes the most sense going forward as far as the strategic aspect of it and keeping everything consistent. And I absolutely love it. These are the parks that would be given a brand new name. Six Flags New England would now be known as Riverside, a Six Flags theme park, which dates back to the name the park used to be known before Six Flags New England. And then, here's a big shocker, but Six Flags Over Texas would now be called Lone Star Adventures, a Six Flags theme park. And Six Flags Over Georgia would now be called Legends of the South, a Six Flags theme park. Both of these parks will be dedicated and themed to the rich heritage of Texas and Georgia, and I really like the names and the fit of that. And the Six Flags theme park would be added as a tagline for all the other parks like Kings Island, Carowinds, Kings Dominion, Canada's Wonderland, Cedar Point, a Six Flags theme park, Dorney Park, Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, a Six Flags theme park. I just like the way it sounds. Great Adventure, Great America in Chicago, and Fiesta Texas. Now, most of you know that I love theme parks pretty much more than anything else out there besides my wife and kids. Well, maybe even more than that most days. And I love helping people have the best times in the theme parks. That is why I created a special page on my website, themeparkbranded.com, where you can go and connect with trusted travel agents that I've worked with in the past and know that's going to help you plan the best possible trips to Disney, Universal, cruises, anywhere you want to go. The best part is their services are free to use, so definitely check that out. You can find the link in the description of the video as well. So now that I have 15 world-class theme parks, what type of roller coaster would I add to them next? Now here's what I'm going to break down for you. Each of these parks is going to be getting a major coaster over the next 5 years if I was CEO, which would bring me to 3 new coasters each year, which really isn't really too far out of the norm, really, if that's possible, of course. Starting off with Carowinds, I would add a brand new record-breaking Vekoma tilt coaster in the center of the park for the Nighthawk replacement. This style of ride just makes the most sense for Carowinds, and it would just do so well for the park. The Great Escape, well, they just added Bobcat, a great new wooden coaster, so I'm talking years down the road, but this park could definitely benefit from a brand new Vekoma suspended thrill coaster, providing a ride that features inversions, great airtime, and a pretty compact layout. King's Dominion, to follow up Rapterra, I would go big, and I mean airtime heaven big. A brand new B&M hypercoaster that runs along the backside of Grizzly, as you can see here. A ride like this would really complement Pantherian, their Giga coaster that's a little bit too intense for the GP. But King's Dominion could really benefit from yet another very general public friendly coaster, just like Rapterra is, but a great hypercoaster in the back right hand corner of the park. Now real fast, give this video a thumbs up if you would hire me as the new Six Flags CEO. Heading to Canada's Wonderland, because it's time to say goodbye to Flight Deck, their crappy Vekoma SLC, and replacing it would be a brand new Intamin multi-launch coaster. Think something like Pantheon, but in the front of the park. When you look at what Canada's Wonderland offers, I know they just added a launch coaster, but I really think a coaster that features a top hat, a vertical spike, some really cool airtime and twisted inversions would do really well for the park, as well as complementing Alpenfury as well. Now, I could also go B&M inverted coaster like Banshee. I think that might be a better overall fit, but I really just would love to see a new Intamin multi-launch coaster at Canada's Wonderland. In the world, you can never have too many launch coasters. I mean, look at Universal. You know, so I think that's possible for sure. Now, Dorney Park, I think they would get a smaller Intamin launch coaster, something that you see on the screen right now. This ride is not huge, but it provides a great thrill for the park. Something like this would just really benefit Dorney Park and add another launch coaster, but one that features inversions and some airtime, and this would be a really good win for the park. Heading out to Southern California for Knott's Berry Farm, and while I would love to see a hypercoaster or a Giga, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think something like Siren's Curse would do so well at Knott's Berry Farm. A little bit larger, the structure and this style of ride would fit so well with the Ghost Town theme. Like, I would love that, and I think it's very possible that this style of ride could very well end up at Knott's Berry Farm down the road. But as CEO, this is what I would build 100%. They don't take up as much room as a hypercoaster would, but the GP would really like it, and it's a very marketable attraction. Heading a little bit north to Magic Mountain, because I would add a B&M Giga coaster that is on top of the mountain in the center of the park as well, and have this ride really dominate the entire park. My opinion, when you add a ride like Fury 325 to Magic Mountain, it's going to increase the overall park atmosphere. Every ride's going to benefit from that. And this style of ride is something that Magic Mountain desperately needs and definitely could possibly build in the future. Staying on the B&M Giga front, because we're heading to Great Adventure, and I said in past videos, after this Mock Rides shuttle coaster that the park's planning on building apparently, a B&M Giga is the best way to follow that up. It just makes the most sense. Great Adventure needs a ride like this, of this scale. The GP love it. Fury 325, Orion, Leviathan, they've all done wonders for those respected parks, and it's time to give Great Adventure that same treatment. Great America in Chicago already offers a solid coaster lineup, but there's one coaster out there that I really think that could really add more value to the park, and that would be a Mock Rides Extreme Spinner. These rides are very marketable, fun, the GP enjoy them. I just think there's no other ride like it around. To me, that would make the most sense for that park. Heading down to Fiesta Texas, because while I would love to see a hypercoaster off the rock quarry walls, I would really want to build a massive GCI wooden coaster that interacts with the rock quarry walls, paying homage to the original Rattler, but just smoother and better. And this will be located on the opposite side of the park as Iron Rattler. Something about that park, they just need a solid wooden coaster. Go. Heading up to New England, Riverside now, in my scenario now, because the one ride that you could definitely benefit from is a B&M dive coaster. I would place it right next to the park entrance where the old Thomastown area was located, and this would really pay really cool respect to the whole entire park because it's going to dominate the front entrance, and the views that you get of looking out and seeing Superman and Wicked Cyclone are going to be phenomenal from being up around 180 to 200 feet tall. Heading down to Six Flags Over Georgia because their go-kart plot of land in the parking lot here is going to be transformed into a brand new awesome Vekoma multi-launch coaster featuring airtime, a top hat, 6 or 7 inversions. Something like this would just do so well for Over Georgia. I would love to see it, and I think it just makes the most sense to really clean that park up. Over Texas, you're going to see a brand new B&M launched wing coaster open at the park. Raptera is really good if you don't mind the rattles. If B&M can work on getting that figured out, then I would hire them for these projects, for any B&M project on this list. But having a ride like that over Texas, a high capacity coaster that features inversions, the GP like it, is a no-brainer for this property. Kings Island, a Mock Rides Big Dipper coaster that's going to be located in the front of the park where the Action Zone area is. Goodbye in Vertigo, it's time. This ride would just really honestly become the best coaster at Kings Island and finally give Kings Island a top 10 worthy coaster here in North America. And lastly, Cedar Point, I would hire Vekoma for a brand new launched Vekoma flying coaster in the Frontier Town area of the park. While I would love to see a Mock Rides Extreme Spinner, I just think that Vekoma flying coaster in this area will do really cool. FLY over at Phantasialand in Germany. Everyone raves about it. It is expensive, I know, but adding a ride like that to Cedar Point would just do really well for the park in my opinion. So that is how I would change Six Flags if I was CEO. Now let me know if you would hire me as CEO, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you would hire me. With that being said, what would you do if you were CEO of Six Flags? What changes would you make? You know what to do, let me know in the comments. And if you want to know how I rank every Six Flags park, definitely check out the video at the bottom of your screen. This is Theme Park Brandon. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.